And one of the things we have to think about when we adopt technology is, what if it doesn't happen? How are we going to cover for that? Can we just go on with our day assuming that technology is always going to be there?
Well, you were saying, though, when it comes to ag tech adoption, as you noted, like, not everyone is going to do it. You're never going to have 100%. But what happens when you have, some that have adopted and some are not, when you kind of have, a mixed bag? How does that play out in the day-to-day work?
It's different for the different types of technology we have. We have several different technologies or sections of technology that we work with in Asmus Farm Supply. Some of it is what normally people first go to when you talk about ag tech. It's the technology in the field. And if we're going to provide technology in the field for our growers, one of the things I always tell my agronomists is, it's important for us to meet our grower where they're at. We segment our growers, and not all of our growers are going to adopt something that we may push out. So how do we meet them where they're at? And if I try to set metrics on whether or not the adoption of a certain technology actually is successful, I have to consider that it's not a failure under 100%.
Right.
If 50% of my segmented customers were the targeted customer base for this specific form of technology, if I get 50% adoption, that's 100% great, right?
Yeah.
If I'm talking about some of the technology, like Joey was just talking about, that we use within our system to run our business, which is agnostic from that grower and the grower's experience, maybe I do need 100% adoption on that. I need everybody to be in place. If we put technology in place to improve safety, I need everybody to use that. If I put technology in place to improve communication between my agronomists, all my agronomists have to participate in that. So I think the metrics to see if it's even successful depends on the technology we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it also depends on what our goals were with that technology and how it gets done. Sometimes it's okay not to be an early adopter or not to adopt it at all.
No, I like what you said about meeting people where they're at. And depending on, like you said, if it's safety related, if, there's certain things where you need 100% adoption. Do you find that sometimes you have to be a little more, I don't want to say aggressive, but give some nudges to folks that may, need a little more encouragement, incentive to adopt, or is that just...
Thou shalt is an Amy thing, right? And so, yeah, at times I need to nudge people to accept technology. My son is somewhere laughing hysterically now because he would say, well, we got to nudge mom to accept technology. So yeah, everybody probably needs a little nudge now and then. We nudge when we can, we push when we have to. And
Understood.
so, but normally, as with any new adoption of anything, whether it's technology or if it's some other business function, as long as you lay it out and explain why you're putting it in, and we're not just asking you to accept this because Amy says you should accept this, but because it's a safety issue or it's an efficiency issue, then when they understand why you're putting a new technology in place, they're more understanding when you say, this is really a good idea and I need you to be on board on this.
Makes sense.
So
it's been how many months now since you've been board of the chair of the board at ARA? How's that gig going?
Yeah, the Ag Retailers Association chair. That's been a fun adventure so far. I took over the chairmanship in January. It's great. I mean, I'm so proud to be chosen to lead a group of ag retailers that are really progressive in the industry that serve growers all across the United States. And I think to be given the reins and the gavel to be the head of such a great group of people, great group of employees, doing wonderful things from advocating to ag to helping retailers across the U.S. with different member services that we can do. It's just, it's been a wild ride because you think you got this made as vice chair and they don't tell you what you actually have to do as chair. so you figure that out rather quickly, but it's been fun. It's been
That's great.
fun.
That's
So
good. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of work that the ARA does, and very
Yep.
commendable work. Are there any particular projects or things that you're working on that you are really grooving on right now that you are enjoying?
funny that you asked that. No, a couple of years ago, I had a technology person at one of our member retailers come and say, we really would like a round table of the technology people at the annual meeting. So this will be the third year that we actually bring together, and we encourage, it's only retailers. It's a safe place. We don't have any vendors coming in and selling a product as part of the presentation. But it gives them a place to come in and talk about some of the things that we're concerned about. Last year, we did a lot with cybersecurity.
Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
our conversations are around AI, however you define it, and the liability actually that a retailer has to look at when they implement it. Not so much the liability of
topics.
a system that you put in as the ag retailer and say, this is the one we're promoting that your agronomists use. But what happens when I have that agronomist that thinks it's okay to put my grower's information into a public forum like ChatGPT?
Sure.
And how does that liability come back on me as the retailer when I didn't sanction that, but it was one of my employees that did that?
Yeah.
And what's the fallback? So
Yeah.
I think we're going to have some great discussions about the liability of using some of the shiny new tools
Yeah, no, that's
that come
great.
out in technology.
Awesome. Well, keep up the great work. Always good to see you. Thanks for dropping by.
No problem.
Amy
Thanks for having me.
Asmus.